Hey guys, how's it going? Um, Today I'm gonna be making a little bit of a different video. Normally I do tier lists. I'm not done with tier lists, but I wanted to talk about something I hold near and dear to my heart, and that topic today, I'm sure you read the title, uh, is gonna be dreams. And dreams are really there's a lot to say about dreams, and I'm talking about literal dreams when you're asleep. Um, there's nothing like them. They can be good, they can be bad. Um, they're they're out of this world, really. Like, in the sense of experiences that you can't have in reality. uh like dreams can offer you an experience that's just you can't do that in real life, like flying or just you name it. I could come up with examples, but dreams are just so out there that the examples are just, yeah, that's how dreams are. And I don't know. I just want to talk about dreams for a little bit. Uh, so I guess I'm gonna do that. I've got a little bit of a dream journal, so I guess I'm gonna read you some of my dreams, and they're not all of them are great. Like, dreams are pretty wild, so they're they're weird. But I have a few years worth of dreams to go through. I might not go through all of them. I might make a part two, but we'll see. I won't think that far ahead right now. Um, I guess I'll start from the beginning. I think is the smartest move to do here. So I'm just gonna scroll all the way down. So I wish I could visualize these dreams, but I'm just I guess kind of think of these as like an audio book. Like, just try to imagine it in your head. Uh, I guess before I get into the dreams, I'd like to say how my dreams play out for me. I know it's different for everybody, but personally, my dreams most of the time are just like reality. I can. I'm there. I'm in a first person perspective. I can move my limbs freely most of the time, and I'm there. I'm in the dream, and uh, that's just how they usually are for me. Uh, I've heard of some people, their dreams are closer to movies. Um, and I've had that occasionally, but more times than not, I'm in the dream, like I'm living it. And sometimes I'm aware I'm dreaming, sometimes I'm not. But I'll get into the lucid dreaming later. But yeah, so basically, I'm in a first person perspective for most of these, and I'm just living it as clear as reality would be. So, just gonna go up the list here. My first dream that I have to share today is, you probably heard of the game Half-Life. I had a dream where I was in that universe, and I was on the run from the Combine soldiers. So I was with my brother, and we were driving a car, and we needed to stop for gas. We ran out of gas. I pulled up the truck, and it was a really weird kind of gas pump. Had an elevator next to it, and I had to start the gas pump like a lawnmower. I had to rip that thing, rip the cord. So when I was doing that, a countdown timer popped up, like a video game, which that's kind of something that happens a lot in my dreams. They take elements from video games, as I'm a gamer. So, it popped up. I had 70 seconds, and there were multiple parts to activate it. And I had to do a bunch of different things, but the last one was in the elevator. And I went in while my brother did another one to activate, and I had to pull a long chain down. And I was holding it open with one leg. Yeah, it's kind of, can't really visualize that or describe that very well, but I had my leg pressed against it, and then I only had a few seconds left, so I was out of time. So I just dropped the door and just give it a few more tugs, and then I got it at the last second, and then the elevator it started to rise up, and strapped me to the wall, and how dreams are. It's weird. So I got stuck to the wall, and I was in kind of like a silo looking thing. And then I looked up, and there was a hole in the ceiling of this elevator silo. And I saw a extremely vivid head crab fall through that hole, and it was really weird. It was creepy, and I remember in the dream, it's weird, but I remember remembering the scene that I was in. I remember what part of the experience I was in, which is kind of it's just weird to think about. But I don't know, dreams are wild like that sometimes. I'm probably gonna say that a lot throughout this video. But anyway, I realized my situation, and I scream. I'm like, oh gosh, I don't like this part. And then my screams are cut short by the elevator silo launching into the sky, and as I fly, I squish the head crab with my foot, and I can feel its crunch of it, which is wild. Um, and then after I do that, two more fall through. One lands on my head, or not on my head, but very close to it. But I throw it off of me and stomp them both out. And then five more fall, and I get filled with adrenaline, and I stomp them out with every step. I just squish, 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 squish. And then I think that's all of them. I don't really remember what happened next, but my brother and I are going down the elevator, and I as dreams go, I don't know how he got in there, but the doors eventually open to the elevator, and I open the door, and there's two Combine soldiers standing there on the other side, and I let out a "oh bleep," and then I get hit in the face with the stun baton. I don't remember what happened next, but I mean, obvious reasons. But I think I was on a train or something after that. It was in like a blue tunnel. It was a dark blue with a bunch of neon blue lights. It was really, I guess, kind of like serene kind of place. But I rode the train, and it opened up to a cavern with rocks and foliage going up to the ceiling, and it was pretty peaceful. That was up until the turrets appear and start opening fire with slow laser balls. Easy enough to dodge, but weirdly enough, they didn't actually hurt me if they hit me. Eventually, I get to the end of the tunnel, and it's all white, and I go into it. I don't really remember what happens next. I wrote here that I heard my grandma calling for me during this dream, and I decided to take a VR headset off in case it was real life, I guess. I don't know, it's like wires get twisted here and stuff. So I took the VR headset off, and I thought she was calling to me in real life. I didn't really question it because I was in the dream, and I was in like an old wooden basement, kind of like a Skyrim building basement. And I climbed up the ladder to a regular looking house. Not a house that I really recognize from my life, but I mean, it's relatively normal. I eventually found my grandma during this dream in the house, and I don't remember what she needed, but I went to go play on the PlayStation after that. So really, there's the dream. That's all I got for that one. So I wrote that down. I wish I could fully share it visually and experience it, but that's just kind of the beauty of dreams, is that it's not something you can ever fully describe to somebody. That is an experience that only you will ever be able to have. And I mean, just like life in general, you're not gonna. Nobody will ever have your life, and you won't have anybody else's. But dreams are in that same category, and I'll share them the best I can, even if it's just me talking. So, I guess I'll move on to my next dream here. I've got a lot. I might not go through all of them. Next up, so I don't remember much. Now, I vividly remember this dream. But, this dream is a dream that I will not forget. Even if I didn't write it down, it had significant impact on me. So I'm just gonna get into it. So this dream is very vivid. It was lifelike. Not all dreams are. Some are blurry, but this dream was like I was aware of everything. It was kind of like a zombie apocalypse type dream. The world was deteriorating. And there were a group of soldiers that were hunting the survivors. They kind of looked like the Combine soldiers, I think, or something like that. Gas mask looking dudes. They were gray helmets and stuff. But yeah, I was part of the survivors squad, so we didn't like those guys. I was in a small shed with another survivor, and we were doing some scouting, and he pulled out a sniper rifle, and that startled me. I thought he was gonna turn on me, and I take his gun. I'm like, dude, yo, what the heck, man? And without saying a word, he pulls out a fully kitted AK-47, laser flashlight, holographic sight, and even more startled. I know he could off me at any second, no problem. I raise up my arms. I'm like, whoa, man, we're good. And he turns away and continues scouting. I mean, yeah. So, don't really remember what happens after that, but next we're on a set of railroad tracks, and we're approaching an abandoned train car, and this part is what felt the most vivid. I could see everything clearly, the light of the sun through the trees, the clear blue sky, the rocks on the ground. I could feel the wind blow by. The air smelled fresh. I could hear the footsteps as we approached the train car. I think about how dreams work. I think about like, oh man, VR has come so far for me to feel these things, but I realize in my dream that VR hasn't come this far yet, and I'm dreaming. This isn't real life. I'm a bit disappointed with that, but I'm intrigued with the world I'm in and what I'm experiencing. I try to hold myself to stay asleep and distract myself with the thought that I'm asleep. I talk with, my partner that was with me, and I apologize about freaking out in the shed. I'm like, I say, sorry, man. It gets hard, being out here. I don't remember if he replied or not, but once we're at the train car, we pass it, and I look behind us, and I see one of the soldiers hunting for us at the back of the train, and he's heading for us, and I yell, "Trooper," without thinking. As dreams go, I subconsciously, I remember that. I remember they were called troopers from earlier in the dream, which I don't know if I did or not, but it just felt right. Yeah, they looked kind of like a stormtrooper, kind of like a Half-Life Combine soldier. But yeah, back to the dream. My partner took cover on the opposite side of the train that the trooper was on, and me remembering I was dreaming from earlier, I really didn't have much concern about the trooper. Like, I'm dreaming, what is he gonna do? So I stood there looking at him as he rounded the corner of the train, and he said something like hands up or don't move, something like that. Yeah, I didn't care. I saw that there was a cool gas mask hanging up on the back of the train, and I was like, oh yeah, that looks cool, I want to wear that. So I said to the trooper, I was like, alright, one sec, let me just get this real quick. Trying to grab the gas mask, and I reach out for it, and bang, he blasts me. He shoots me down, and like I can't really describe the sensation that I had, and I felt it right in the left side of my chest. It was like an intense vibration, like kind of an electrocution and immense pressure on top of that. Like, it messed me up. I hit the floor. Like, it was wild. I had so many thoughts going through my mind. I just laid there in agony. Like, it simulated a sensation I'd never experienced. Just thinking about it now, it weirds me out, man. It wasn't fun to go through, but it was extremely fascinating, the way the brain works. And as I'm laying on the ground, I'm like, wow, he really just shot me. And I didn't expect it, and I thought, it's my dream. My subconscious should have a little bit of control over it, right? You'd think, but like normally, a little, like, you get a little flicker. At least for me, you get a little flicker in your mind of when something's about to happen, and I didn't have that. I was fully confident that he wouldn't shoot me, and he laid me out. So yeah, I call out to my partner there, and I'm like, dude, you gotta do something, man. I am not okay. And then I remember falling in and out of consciousness during that. And I wonder, uh, in the dream, I'm not wearing a vest. I guess not. And I'm like, I'm really screwed, aren't I? Like, this is the apocalypse. Ain't no way I'm surviving a shot to the chest here. And I lay there, still in pain. And I hear voices. I don't remember much of what they said, but uh, partly due to the pain of it, and part due to it just being a dream. And when you wake up, you kind of forget stuff like that. And I hear somebody say, can you get it? And I hear, yep, there it is. And it sounds like they're getting a bullet out. I hear a clink as they toss it to the ground. It's the bullet. And I see them working on me as I fall unconscious in the dream. And I wake up in real life, and I wonder if I survive the dream. And I thought to myself, I guess I'll find out tomorrow maybe. But I actually fall asleep a few seconds later, and I'm still with my team. The pain is gone, and we moved on to a bus stop not far away. And I'm thinking, well, I guess I lived. I don't really, realistically, I don't think I should have in the apocalypse getting shot in the chest. But I'm glad I got a little bit of closure on it, even if it's just a dream. I'd say this is one of my favorite dreams, even if it wasn't like super good. I think that I think it gave me a lot of appreciation for dreams. I already had that, but this one really showed me that dreams you're not always in control of your dreams. Sometimes dreams are not for you to create, but for you to experience. So yeah, good dream. Got another dream coming up. So, let's see, what one should I go with? I'm just gonna go up the list. I know I already said that, but I'm just gonna go through them all. So our next one we have is so this dream is a little they're all different, but this one's a little weird. So this one was kind of like a movie-ish. So this one was in like the Roman/Greek times, I think. And they're so I'm just gonna read it out how it is. It was a group of Greeks, and they're having a conversation about an attack plan, how they're gonna escape. So they're kind of like prisoners by Romans, I think, And, cut to the escape plan. They make their move, and they're all killed very quickly. Slaughtered. And then we go back to the planning room again, and they're discussing another plan. Saying, well, that worked terribly. So it's apparent now that these Greeks have some kind of ability to rewind time after death. So whether it's they rewind time or that the day resets, something like that. However it is, they can remember they can remember what happens. In each death they learn, obviously, and the escape goes a little further, and eventually they'll get out. Cut to another attempt. This one's a lot more tedious. Through many attempts, they manage to almost escape through compliance with the Romans. The Greeks deceive the Romans in many ways, claiming to know the secret behind an encrypted letter. Using this letter, they nearly escape, but they're killed in every attempt. The Greeks, back at the drawing board, say nothing is working. We try and we get nowhere. After talking, they decide to go with their last resort. Utter chaos. The Greeks don't want to do this because it's the most difficult to learn from due to the obvious chaos. But they're out of options. It's chaos. You can't learn, but sometimes you gotta take what you got. So the Greeks in this dream have a special connection with animals, and they can communicate with them and somewhat plan with them. The Greeks talk with these animals. There's tons of animals here. There's sheeps. There's wolves. There's jaguars, lions, rats, many more. Whole zoo's worth. And they all agree upon a plan. So back to the Romans. The Greeks are being transferred for execution when they pass through animal cages. So it's like a whole coliseum with just animals in every single little hole in the wall. The Romans, they got them in cages for various reasons, and then the Greeks activate primal rage, which causes all the animals to just go wild, just rage mode and attack everything and anything, including the Greeks. So, but I mean, that's all you got. It's the only way out of that situation. And the Romans try to calm the animals down, but it's not working. They're in rage mode, and then it finally happens. The first animal escapes and kills the Roman guard, and then targets all the other animals in the cages. Meanwhile, more animals break free. The Greeks steal the keys, and they let more out. It's chaos. Absolute chaos. And, throats being torn out, animals being crushed, stabbed, ripped limb from limb, blood everywhere. It's a long fight. And it is a mess. But eventually, the dust settles, and all the Romans and animals are dead. The Greeks escape, and they're out. So sucks to resort to that, but sometimes that's the way it goes. Eventually, we make it out to the desert. The Greeks have armed themselves, awaiting a Roman response, and they see a small search party. And the Greeks get the jump on the Romans, and they fire an arrow into the first soldier's knee. Arrow in the knee. He falls to his good knee, and the second arrow is fired. This one very large and red, with ribbons on it. It flies straight to the second Roman's face, and it stops just short before hitting him, and it floats. It freezes in the air. The Romans, shocked, they look at the arrow, and the soldier, he's frozen with fear still stuck on his face. A third arrow flies and kills the third soldier. That's the entire group. The Greeks approach the last Roman and talk. Your friend here, referring to the frozen Roman, he's as good as dead. He's stuck in this moment forever. To us, he's frozen, but for him, he can move freely throughout the world. But he'll never move forward through time. He's stuck in his moment till he decides to kill himself or go insane. The Greek pushes the frozen Roman over and he falls and goes limp. The Greek grabs the floating red arrow and points it to the last Roman. He says, if you don't want the same to happen to you, I suggest you play nice. Cut to black. That's really all I remember from that dream. But, I clearly wrote it down for a reason. I think that was a cool dream. And I think it's cool that I think it had some stuff to think about. Like being trapped in time. Like that last part really makes you think. Like an arrow that you shoot at somebody that just locks you in time. That's a powerful arrow. Like, holy crap. But yeah, it's like I didn't come up with that. So my subconscious came up with that. That whole dream. It's like that's why I love dreams. That it gives you ideas that you never actually had yourself. Clearly some part of me had them, but it's cool. That's a story right there, and I'm glad I got to experience it. So yeah, I guess I don't really have too much more to add about that story, that dream, but I enjoyed it, and if you liked it, let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. I guess I'm gonna move on to the next one. Well, let's see here. All right. So I don't really remember this dream, but I wrote it down for a reason, so it's probably gonna come back to me. But let's get into it. So this dream took place kind of in like an animal style-ish world. And for this one, there was two main characters to this dream. One was a black cat with white markings on them, and their name was Mittens. And then there was so there's Mittens, and then there was another cat. Don't really remember their name. We'll just call him Whiskers. And there's so much I don't really remember about this dream. But the things I do stuck. And I said stuck, like I remember them, not they suck. So these two cats, they were young lovers, but the world they lived in was not a nice one. There was lots of really brutal scenes in this dream, involving lots of death. I can't really remember any of them, but I remember that it had a lot of that. And these two lovers, they lived mostly normal lives, but while Mittens was away, the bridge that connected the two islands between each other was bombed, separating them. And they spend the time communicating through letters. Mittens works at the Capitol building, but they work him way too much. They both just want to escape and live their lives, but they're held back by their responsibilities. I don't remember most of the details, but the final scene of this dream involves Whiskers, the girl cat, writing a note to Mittens, asking him to please just forget about his job at the Capitol, and that their relationship's more important, that he'll work himself to death, and she trusts him to do the right thing. Earlier on in the dream, there was a bit of a flash forward, and the Capitol building was hit with a terrible attack, and there were bombs that went off, destroying most of the building, and that attack is what we're leading to. The bombs go off, and some other character looks up to see them blow off a huge piece of the building, and then it's crushed by debris in a brutal way. We see in the dream, I see a note on the desk from Whiskers, and it says something like he's not coming into work today, or he quit. And then we see that Mittens is in the Capitol, in his office with an assistant. The bombs have already gone off. He sits in the middle of the room with a large, circular skylight illuminating him. He talks about what he should have done differently, and he could have been there for. He talks about his assistant, or he talks with his assistant more, and looks up and says, well, I guess it doesn't make much of a difference now. And then there's a rumbling, and the ceiling collapses, and cut to dark. So here I write, I don't know why we saw the note of Mittens quitting. It makes me want to believe that there's an alternate ending where they live happy. Maybe Mittens was going to quit that day. He already wrote the note and was about to walk out. But, you know, that's how the dream went. So, yeah, it's a bit of a sadder one. But I think that story has some real lessons to take from it, even for being a dream. You know, don't forget about what's really important. You know, you can grind it out on work or whatever, but don't let it get you killed. Or, I mean, like you can't predict, you know, that, but don't let it take your life away. Live. Enjoy the small moments with people around you. So yeah, I think I wrote that down for a reason, because it's got some good messages in it. So yeah, I guess I'll move on to the next one here. All right, so let's get into it. I don't think this one's gonna be as sappy as the other one. This one might be a little more fun, so let's lighten our spirits a bit. Okay, I remember this one. This one's not. All right. I'll let you formulate an opinion on it. So I was so we're starting the dream. I was in a group of people. You know, there was some other family. I'm pretty sure I was by myself, and we were taken hostage. We were in this old Western style. It was a 2-story building, you know, Wild West like era building, and we were taken hostage by some evil priests or cultists, something like that, and they were gonna sacrifice us for some reason. They slit our veins right in front of the elbow, and they were getting me ready for execution. And I fought back, because like I'm not gonna just take that. And I managed to get my hands on a pair of scissors, and I call out to everybody, and I'm like, we gotta fight. and nobody moves a muscle. So I'm on my own in this one, and we scuffle around, but I end up using those scissors, and I slice their arm the same way they plan to slice me. After these cultists, after they die, I use the keys to unlock everybody and the door to get out. There's plenty of weapons in the building, so we lock and load. I end up with 2 revolvers. First one's just a regular revolver, with a comically long barrel, like 2 feet long. And the second one's more reasonable. It's a green revolver with golden inlays, gems on it. It's very, very beautiful. And then, we arm up. Here's some commotion outside, and we step out on the second floor balcony and look out. It's a whole army of people dressed in regular clothes, and not like Western clothes, just regular t-shirt, jeans. They got the building surrounded. Eventually the leader comes up onto the balcony, and we go inside the building again, to discuss things. And what do you want, dude? So he apparently he's looking for the body of one of his fathers, and it's in this building that we're in. And at that point, I noticed that okay, this is where the dream kind of gets silly. I noticed at that point he looks similar to Josuke from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I don't know if you know that, but he's got like a very Elvis kind of haircut. And I ask him, I'm like, wait a second, so you're and I get cut off. My brother finishes this thought, and he says, JoJo. So, and then he's kicked in the head and knocked out by someone sitting next to him. And then I, pissed off by this, I jump on the table, pull out my green revolver, and I ask him, what was that for? Give me one reason not to blast you. And he informs me that he was just knocked out, so I let him live. The JoJo, quote unquote, starts to leave during this, seeing it as an opening, so I rush him and take him as a hostage. I'm not sure why I care. He can have the body. I guess his army could kill us all anyway, so I just need leverage. I hold him and his assistant both hostage while we go outside. And that's when I wake up. So, yeah. I mean, there's not really much substance to that dream. Nothing really profound to add. It's just I don't know. It's a story. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot to add to that. Looking through my other dreams right now. You know, yeah, I mean, a lot of these dreams, I think I'll share one more dream and then I'd like to just talk about dreams in general. You know, I'll share some more if you guys want, but I've got one last dream to share, so I'm gonna do that. So, I mean, you probably saw my Halo video. You know I got Halo in my mind. So this one starts with me playing Halo. Halo multiplayer, as it goes. So I was with my team, and we were getting stomped. In this dream, it was a lives based game mode, and my entire team eventually left. And I was on my own, and I only had a few lives left, and they had like 20 between the 4 other players on the team, so things weren't looking good. And I fought hard. I remember taking a Banshee, laying on him for a while, and I bled him down to their last lives. And one stole my Banshee, but I managed to snipe him out of it. And I picked up his sniper rifle. So, that being a power weapon, it's a power weapon. You got to hold on to that. So, I went in looking for the last squad members to finish the fight. And eventually I come across a crashed Pelican. One of the carrier ships for the UNSC, and there was a fence surrounding it, like a chain link fence with there was a small bridge and a river leading to it. It was very forested, deep forest kind of area, and I spotted a few more enemies, and I pulled out the sniper, and I took aim, and bang, bang, bang. I dropped them all. Dropped all 3 of them. And there was only one left. I took aim and pulled the trigger on the last one. But I was out of ammo. Last enemy was another ODST. And I guess in this I was an ODST. She quickly closed the distance between us, and she pulled out a shotgun. And I'm just thinking, oh man, I am out of my league for this one. All I've got's an assault rifle, and they got a shotgun. They're right next to me. I throw my sniper to the ground, and I put my hands up. I'm out of options, and so I do what I can. I know it's not gonna do me any good. I don't deserve any mercy. I just took out 3 of her friends seconds ago, and it's still not gonna end well. And she moves up with the shotgun. Looked at me. She didn't have a helmet on, but I could tell by her gear that she had on. She was ODST like me. And then she had blonde hair. She put her weapon away, and she said, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna shoot you." And then she grabbed me by the throat and pushed me against the tree that was right behind me. And she said, I like things a little more personal. And then she pulled out a knife and drives it straight into my throat. And then my vision tunnels. And she lets me go. And I fall down, lean up against the tree, and I see her walk away. I noticed that we're both on our last lives. And I just think, damn. That was a good fight. I think I could have won it, but in the dream I didn't know that we had knives that we could use. But I fought hard. Maybe next time. And I bleed out. There's some more details to that dream that have been lost to time because I went back to sleep. And you know how it goes. You have a dream, you go back to sleep, you forget a lot of your last dream. But, you know, just like the dream where I got shot, your dreams are not... You can't ever predict what's going to happen in a dream. And that's one of my... You know, it's up there for my dreams. I thought it was a cool experience. I just think it's kind of funny because, you know, she's like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna shoot you." I like things more personal. It stabs me. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's like cinema. And you know, my brain just comes up with the stupidest things sometimes. It's like, it's so cheesy, but it's so good. Yeah. So, yeah, good dream. Worth reliving. Well, I said I wasn't gonna go through any more dreams. Should I not? I'm not gonna. I said I wasn't, so I'm not going to. Okay. I'm really tempted, but I gotta go through some more of these, just to pick the ones that I have strong opinions of. So, sorry if you were hoping for more, but go ahead, subscribe. Tune in next time. I'll make more. So, I mean, I don't want to hold you up much longer. So, I still need to get my thoughts off about other stuff. So, no more dreams for now. And I'm going to stop talking about it. Which, with that being said, I'm gonna go to my next point of discussion. Of course, more dreams. But I want to talk about lucid dreaming. Or maybe I should save that for next time. I feel like the video's been going on pretty long. You're already here. If you made it this far, you're here to stay. Yeah, lucid dreaming. I think that lucid dreaming is really fascinating. Not everybody can do it. If you can, like, you've got unlimited entertainment potential. Like you like that's lucid dreaming is creative mode. Like I can lucid dream myself, and I've had lucid dreams where I can fly, which, I mean, that's the first thing anybody talks about when lucid dreaming comes up. It's like, oh, you can fly, you can do whatever, which actually is not entirely true. My lucid dreams, my power level varies. Depending on the day, on the night, whenever I'm asleep. I don't have I don't have the ability to control my dreams as well as I do other times. I'm fully aware I'm dreaming, but that doesn't mean I can fly. That doesn't mean I can spawn objects. It doesn't mean I can manipulate the environment, which I guess it's different for everybody, just like dreams are, but that's how they work for me. And I mean, I'm interested in how they work for you. I love talking about dreams, so like, let me know. Can you lucid dream? Can you, when you lucid dream, can you manipulate things? Like, it's an interesting topic, and you know, I've had dreams where, you know, just like other dreams, or even when I'm lucid dreaming, I'm aware I can manipulate things. There can always be something that catches me off guard. For example, one time I had a dream where I was lucid and I could do things. I could manipulate things. I was driving my car, and I decided to make it fly, to make a flying car, and I took off up in the air, and I started flying across the ocean. And, you know, as I was flying, you know, I felt free, and I felt in control. And as that was going on, you know, my subconscious took me off guard, and it had another plane show up coming straight at me, and it nearly hit me, and that was startling, naturally. So it's just another thing to show you that even when you think you're in control with your mind, your mind's got different ideas, which is weird. But I really like lucid dreaming. It's if you can't lucid dream, if you never have, and you'd like to, I think that something that might help. I'm not a professional or nothing, but I find that I have the best success lucid dreaming when I wake up in the morning after sleeping for a good while, and I go back to sleep. I wake up, stay up for like 15 minutes, 5-10 minutes, for a short time, enough to where you're still tired and want to go back to sleep. When you go back to sleep, I have more success lucid dreaming. So if you never tried that, maybe give it a try. Yeah, I guess that's about all I have to say about lucid dreaming. Super cool. Would recommend if you're capable. It's not easy. But yeah. I mean, I'd like to share some more of my dreams. I just, I don't want to be talking for hours and hours. But if you enjoyed the video, if you'd like to hear more, I'll make another video. Just I guess I hope you have sweet dreams or something. I don't know, some kind of ending to this video that is kind of funny. But yeah, rest easy, guys. I'll talk to you later.